It's been made for
subject we're
sale.
going to talk about. It was a
All right.
wide-ranging.
All right, we're gonna get going here.
Interesting, right?
Yes.
Since we have cooperating weather, we're gonna try to make the
Yes.
most of it. So welcome. Thanks very much for being here today. We very much appreciate you being here and your interest, continued interest and commitment to this Baliles Center for Educational, Environmental Education. So thank you very much. Are we doing okay out there? Good. So, who's coming by helicopter? The president's already here. So just shy of 2 years ago, 2 years only, we gathered here to celebrate the incredible vision of Longwood University and to create a space for learning, for thoughtful contemplation, and for achievement. We did so proudly in the name of Gerald Baliles, member of the House of Delegates, Attorney General of Virginia, and Governor of this great Commonwealth. And we did so to honor his legacy. It's a legacy to believe deeply in the power and the opportunity that education can provide, and his deep and abiding belief that natural resources deserved strong stewardship for the generations that followed. And here we are again. 2 years ago, we gathered on the porch at the lab, and we deemed it the centerpiece of this complex. That time we showed you cardboard renderings. They were good, but they were of a vision. So we resolved collectively on that day and at that place and at that time to turn that vision into a reality, to grow this place in order to accommodate tomorrow's citizen leaders. Where are you, citizen leaders? Thank you for being here. Their needs, perhaps even their dreams, and to provide the tools for success. Today, those cardboard renderings come to life. Turned out pretty cool. What do you think?
Yes.
So many of you here who continue to come back for these events have been instrumental in what we celebrate today. We've got cheerleaders and donors. More importantly, we have doers and we have believers. My good friend, President of Longwood University, Taylor Reevely, has borne the brunt sometimes of my crazy ideas, and he's on occasion even talked me off the ledge, but I appreciate that. But he's always been a sincere and steadfast voice for the success and for the utilization of the Baliles Center. He's been a terrific leader. He's been a partner, been a mentor, collaborator, and yes, even from sometimes a co-conspirator.
Unindicted.
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 Anything to say, Mr. Troy? This is always dangerous, but I do want to recognize several of our heroes, perhaps our unsung heroes of this Baliles Center, folks who work behind the scenes on a daily basis to keep this place operational, demonstrating stewardship and serving as the backbone of this Baliles Center. Lori Blackwood, Lori's out there, Executive Director of the University's Real Estate Foundation. She keeps this place running and importantly keeps us on budget and even, Senator Chichester, quote unquote, finding money from time to time. Lori uses personal time to steward to this place, orchestrating construction, tending to detail, and always asking the very important question, what's best for the students? Sherry Swinson is the Executive Director of the Baliles Center. He's there with Lori. Who became the leader of the center and was reluctant perhaps initially, but in the beginning, but for long, but not for very long. Jumping in with both feet, Sherry had a plan. She had no money, but the plan was worth the struggle, and she lived it and she breathed it. At first it was booking at the Ames House, fundraising, countless hours saving our signature oak that no longer stands, less than except in the seedlings that are planted and will grow again, symbolic, as we say, of the growth of the Baliles Center. She took farm fields that created runoff and foul the waters nearby and monitored the development of a wetland bank that you passed on the way in, eliminating that runoff and providing a significant source of funding for the Baliles Center. As an aside to the students, if you're lucky, you can get her to have a colloquy with you on somewhere maybe in this newly minted policy pavilion, so she can dissuade you from that old maxim that money does not grow on trees. It actually does. Sherry's been hands-on in the new construction we unveiled today. Trip after trip from Farmville, simply put, she's done it all, from design to furnishing, to landscaping, to the pattern of the pavers, to her insistence for a multitude of outdoor showers. The last one may need a sidebar, Sherry. Just a month or so ago, I called her. She was literally buying kitchen supplies for these new cabins. Everything from egg beaters to forks and spoons, plates, bowls, and maybe even a corkscrew or two. These two incredible leaders have done it all, and no doubt without them, we would not be here today. To Bucky Hayden, our primary contractor, he was stalwart, obtaining inspections when they were difficult to obtain, overcoming shortages of material, as well as weather challenges, to polish his place with the new facilities that we dedicate today. To him and his crew, our deep and sincere appreciation. Deborah Ashton and Wayne Carey, the lucky ones. They get to be here every single day. So many thanks to them for their commitment to keeping this place in order, both inside and out. We appreciate very much you all's continued lasting efforts. So a big thanks also to Rita Smith, who's not able to be with us today because of weather, but she served on the Longwood Foundation Board from 1999 to 2008. It was during that period and that time frame that this extraordinary property was gifted to the university by Mary Farley Ames. I was pleased to get to know Rita when we both served together on the original, along with Karen Chichester, the original Hull Springs Farm Board Foundation. Rita's been loyal, she's been faithful, she's been ever committed, and she's been a very active believer in the vision of this Baliles Center. It is our honor today to recognize her many contributions by naming two of the original, and I hope you'll go see them, and now vastly renovated original bunkhouses in her honor. One will forever be called the Barber Cottage for her sister, a 1993 graduate of Longwood, and one the Smith Cottage for her family. So to you, Rita, many thanks for all that you've done, for all that we know you will continue to do going forward. Now, just a quick word or two for the students who joined us today. Unlike many on this, well, we don't have a stage, but on this porch and on these grounds, you didn't have a chance to know Jerry Baliles. Perhaps you may not even know his name, but I'm going to give you a clue. In his first run for office, he was unknown, Richmond and Rico floater seat. As he often said to folks, and this is his brilliance, in his first run he'd introduce himself and he'd say, "My name is Baliles. It rhymes with smiles." So now you know, and you will never forget. So it's easy now for you to know the name, and one which is not easily forgotten. It's impossible for me or any of us gathered to convey to you Jerry Baliles' many accomplishments, and importantly, the manner in which he approached governing. Simply put, he was cerebral, he was creative, he was strategic, he was passionate, and most of all, he was caring. What I want you to appreciate, you back there, were his leadership qualities. To appreciate the fact that his legacy and the Baliles Center create opportunities for you, opportunities to be pioneers perhaps, to be thinkers about the future of our natural world, and to become citizen leaders in whatever walk you choose. To be creative in how you choose to take advantage of opportunities, here or on the main campus. Be strategic in your approach, think it through, and once you're satisfied, act. Finally, do that in a caring manner, in a passionate manner, making room for other opinion, working with those who may disagree, but always working toward a shared solution. You started that road to leadership by being here today, and that is very, very much appreciated. So return to Farmville. Take any lessons learned and spread the word of this incredible property and the potential for learning and for leadership. Encourage utilization of this Baliles Center. Remember, it runs with smiles. Listen carefully to some thoughtful leaders whom I will soon yield the podium to. Digest their thoughts and develop your message as you return to Farmville and the main campus and you lead others to this place. Be thoughtful, be creative, strategic, passionate, and caring. If all that fails with your colleagues on campus, here's a foolproof fallback for you. Your message and your advocacy, feel free to add. We have outdoor showers, cool cabins, canoes, kayaks, boats, and maybe even a corkscrew or two. In addition to the formal naming of the Barber Cottage and the Smith Cottage, today we dedicate the Cabinet Cabin and the Policy Pavilion. The Cabinet Cabin, a small tribute to my colleagues fortunate to serve in that capacity with Governor Baliles for their commitment and for making a difference. And I especially appreciate Vivian Watts, who I was proud to serve with, being here today. Thank you, Vivian. In a moment, you will, and the Policy Pavilion, I almost forgot you, Ruth. A tribute to those who work closely with the governor in the formulation of sound policies for the benefit of Virginians. In a moment, you'll hear from two of those policy wonks, Chris Bridge, who served as press secretary, and Rick Aaronstein, who served as policy advisor. I urge your attention as they're both smart, they're both articulate, they're both passionate about their time, and as they say, have even on occasion had that ability and foresight to see around a corner or two. You will then hear from Abby Sumner, who is an accomplished biology major. She'll graduate in May of this year, and we welcome you in December. Look at you, you skipped a grade already. Anyway, first, thank you very much for your attention, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you the president of Longwood University and my very good friend, Taylor Reevely.
I have a tie on, so I'm feeling very official.
You are.
And
You want a job?
I want to start by saying a special thank you to John himself, the Commonwealth's first Secretary of Natural Resources, Chair of our Real Estate Foundation Board, and a proud title I bestowed on him a while ago, Godfather of the Baliles Center at Hall Springs. It's really John in particular who has carried the torch these many years to help make this place what it is. And so let's give John a round. And it's been a beautiful partnership between Longwood's Real Estate Foundation and the Longwood University Foundation. The money that's been growing on wetland trees has been fruit of the collaboration between those two foundations, and has brought this place to life in this beautiful way. So if you all will indulge me being just a little sentimental, so it's 5 years, which is hard to believe, since our great friend Jerry Baliles, Governor Gerald Baliles, passed away. And I wanted to bring his voice to these proceedings today, especially with great Longwood students assembled, so you all could have a taste of this great friend that we cherish. So I looked through the archives, and lo and behold, I found a really elegant essay that he wrote 20 years ago, 2004, which feels like it was, well, it was before many of you were born, on the one hand. On the other, as I looked at it, it felt strikingly contemporary as we gather here in this policy pavilion in the midst of tense election season. The essay is about leadership by elected officials. And if you all will indulge me to read just a couple passages from it, I think it'll strike a chord. Here's what the governor wrote 20 years ago. Talk of political leadership is often in the air, serving as the subject of self-promotion, debate, criticism. Books are written on the topic, and scholars talk about it, and critics lament the lack of leadership at various levels of government in addressing many of the troubling issues of our time. Leadership by elected officials, in the final analysis, is what sustains a free society. And in a particularly elegant part of this elegant essay, he talks about the importance of what is often called liberal education. At Longwood, it's the substance of our Civite core curriculum, which back on campus we were venerating yesterday on Symposium Day. So here is what the Gov had to say about the importance of education for crafting policy and forming citizen leaders and elected leaders. Here's what he said. The issues society confronts and the solutions to them only grow in complexity and scope as time passes. A liberal education, touching on all principal bodies of knowledge, is the best means for elected officials to be able to identify these issues with beneficial foresight as much as possible and identify the lines of solution. A liberal education is not simply a matter of college study. It should be constant and lifelong. Each of the main bodies of knowledge has purposeful, practical application. At their core, all works of art and literature, for instance, teach about emotion, human longing, and satisfaction. They amplify the ability to recognize what hopes and fears animate the world. It is emotion, as much as anything, that drives the world. Gaining fluency in another language opens entire new realms of understanding, increasingly vital in a globalized world. Athletics and moderation teach self-evident good, sacrifice, and collaboration. History allows vicarious experience, like a great virtual reality chamber. It teaches how it feels to live in 1,000 different times, and it offers examples of how others responded in times of high moment. Through studying history, we can come to understand, in increasing measure, how we got here, as well as a sense of where perhaps we ought to go. The social sciences, economics, political science, psychology, sociology, give analytic rigor to the understanding of human dynamics and knowledge of the workings of markets and culture. Commerce and finance are the keys to the practical affairs of life that make the world hum. Math and the hard sciences, in this age of technological wonders and abominations, are the coin of the realm. Those who cannot understand them are increasingly unable to participate meaningfully in the events of the day. Finally, there are, in some ways above all else, religion and philosophy. No life, mercifully, is untouched by life's mysteries. Religion and philosophy represent our efforts to understand the world and navigate its waters. No article of any morning newspaper or segment of any evening news broadcast is far removed from the great bodies of knowledge studied in a liberal education. The issues of the day and the solutions to them, the intuitions of the subtle movements and evolutions not yet captured in the press and conventional wisdom, are the stuff of a lifelong liberal education. Taste of the sagacity and wisdom of our great friend. And the hope for this place, really truly, is that it inspires generation after generation, both with regards to fields like environmental science or biology, but that really provides inspiration for the soul across all disciplines. Is a place to gather and reflect on the future. And that's a great part of what we are doing today. You can sit here in this beautiful policy pavilion and conjure great decades and generations to come. Great ideas that will take root here and come to full flower. So it really is great to be together. And I will subside, turn things to Rick.
Thank you, Taylor. Governor said you all be seated now.
Yeah.
Of course, you already are. He'd have said that whether there were seats or not. President Reevely, General Troy, Senator Chichester, Delegate Watts, Secretary Daniel, friends, boy, like old times. It's humbling to stand here today and have a facility associated with the lofty memory of Jerry Baliles dedicated to the policy team on which I was honored to serve. It's quite touching, really. We were by and large a group that worked largely in the background. We worked long hours and the work was often tedious. So for this unexpected dedication, honoring and memorializing our efforts at developing meaningful and lasting policy, I offer my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to Longwood University, the leaders of the Baliles Environmental Center, those dedicated individuals led by my dear friend John Daniel, who've toiled long and hard to bring this impressive center to fruition. I value being here today with Chris. She has always challenged me, even motivated me to think and work harder. No one worked harder than she did. Hearing her approach has always kept me grounded, focused, and given her background and role as communications director in our administration, always on message. Chris' presence here today reminds me of work weeks and briefing books, policy initiatives, and the governor's laser focus on getting things done. I'm flooded with memories, and I'm reminded why we took on those demanding challenges 40 years ago. But for this moment, I wish to share my thoughts about the people, the meaning of the work to us, its lasting impact, and the way it shaped our lives, our families, our communities, our careers. I choose this message because I hope it may impact, even inspire those of you on hand today, in the back, as John said, who are at the stage of life of considering your own paths, about to make some choices that will set your own course for what lies ahead. Our small team was made up of individuals from considerably diverse backgrounds. Only the governor ultimately knew why each of us was selected. But one thing we knew about Jerry Baliles was that each decision he made was well thought out and considered, and the eventual composition of the team was designed with purpose. Some were lawyers who had never toiled around state government. Some were holdovers from, I didn't mean to say holdovers like in a bad way. Some were holdovers from previous administrations. Others had worked in the campaign. Some had served the governor when he was Attorney General. I, for one, came from the private sector and had no experience in state government. I'd always found myself quite interested in politics and public affairs, candidly more at the national than state level. But I hadn't before seriously considered a career or a pathway in public service. While considering this opportunity to serve, I had occasion to sit with a member of then Governor Rob's policy team. He gave me great insight into what the work would look like and what would be expected of me. It was daunting, it was quite foreign to me. And he shared with me words that stuck with me for 4 years and became the guiding principle of my work. He promised me, "You'll have the enormous power to do good." And was he right? The prospect of leaving the comfort of a family business, taking a cut in income, working for someone else, not knowing where it might mean I'd be in 4 years, was fraught with uncertainty. But I was intrigued by the prospect of contributing to this effort. The governor had a reputation as smart, directed, thoughtful leader. What I couldn't have known at the time, and what I came to appreciate as time passed, was his style of strength and leadership. He challenged us, every one of us, at every step. I said he usually knew more about every issue, but the truth is he always knew more about every issue than any of us did. In essence, he was a teacher. He taught us to think critically, to consider possibilities and options we'd never considered before. He taught us how to imagine others might view a given topic. And he helped us bring others around to a point of view, a policy perspective, if you will, to which we were already committed. He made us think about the long-term impacts of every decision we might consider or recommend to him for action. Of course, politics was always in play, but the results of the impact on the lives of others and the possibility of what could be were always paramount. You see, Jerry Baliles was a true public servant, in the very best sense of the word. And all along the way, he was teaching us to be the same. From that very first day, arriving at Thomas Jefferson State Capitol and making my way to our intimate third-floor suite, a little smaller than the policy pavilion here, I was awed by my surroundings. The weight of the building and its institution informed my feeling that this was perhaps the most important adventure of my young life. The gravity of every decision we made me work harder than I had ever worked before. The awe of my surroundings never left me, not for a single moment in 4 years. I sought out people who knew more than I did, which was virtually everyone. I benefited from the enormous dedication and knowledge held by state employees, steeped themselves in their commitment to their agencies and service to others. I was inspired by their commitment to the public's well-being, their dedication to working with one another and with me for the greater good. As I said, the policy office suite was quite small. Nearly every conversation could be overheard. We bolstered one another, taught one another, and learned from one another. There were difficult times, to be sure, but the friendships and support of one another, even the occasional gallows humor, always made the times we shared more meaningful. We could count on one another in every instance. We had one another's backs. 40 years later, many of us remain close friends. Our professional and communal paths often cross. We've supported one another through life's challenges and shared each other's joy and successes. The work was quite tedious at times, reviewing lengthy policy recommendations from agencies and cabinet secretaries, reviewing agonizingly detailed regulations on every subject imaginable, from every corner of state government, reviewing hundreds of pieces of legislation each session with analysis from dozens of agencies, and making sometimes agonizing recommendations to the governor via lengthy and tedious emails. The hours were long, often starting at the crack of dawn and reaching into the wee hours of the next morning. Fortunately, we were all very young and highly motivated. Many of us had very understanding spouses and young families. We never wanted to make a mistake on matters of great import. We never wanted to disappoint the governor. In the end, working together, gathering support, and valued input of others, we created lasting policy, which continues to impact the lives of Virginians and beyond 4 decades later. The Commonwealth, indeed the world, is a better place for our tireless efforts. And that means something to me. It means a great deal. These 4 years in Jerry Baliles' policy office led to a path for me that I never imagined when I graduated from college and returned to Richmond. I thought my degree and my courses in my chosen field had given me the tools I would need for a successful career and a meaningful life. But 4 years of serving others changed all of that. The tools, skills, and knowledge that I gained on the 3rd floor led me to a stint as Lieutenant Governor Don Byers' senior counselor. There I was able to test my policy chops and develop new skills, assembling and managing a team of young people as anxious to serve as I was, and deeply dedicated to a cause in which they believed. And while Byers' lopsided loss to the race for governor sidetracked me, it didn't discourage me. I began to invest my knowledge and skills in building from the ground up and assembling coalitions to help build new and growing institutions in Richmond in the nonprofit sector, which I quickly came to understand could also have remarkable impact on the lives of others. Organization in the arts and culture, fabric of community, organizations which serve children, families, and those in need of support of others. I was amazed to find out just how willing others were to join and follow if someone laid out the vision. So I learned serving Jerry Baliles. Today I have a little unique boutique consulting practice helping nonprofits in the public policy arena grow their organizations and attract members and donors. And I continue to be amazed and my life enriched by the lasting impact these organizations have on lives across Virginia. I also have 2 amazing daughters who watch me experience the fulfillment that has come from public service. So why am I sharing this very personal and perhaps mundane story of my life's path with you today? Some of you are here today because of your interest and commitment to a richer environment. Others still because of your interest in political science. I trust you're accumulating great knowledge and insights into the fields you imagine yourself entering, courtesy of Longwood University. But the message is that the opportunity to enrich your lives and improve the world in which we live begins with you when you leave here. I hope you will be as fortunate as I've been. I hope you will seek out and find an opportunity to serve others, a path that can be fulfilling and ever so meaningful, a path that includes public service. The men and women who lead Longwood University are public servants. Their careers did not begin and will likely not end here. The men and women who created the Baliles Environmental Center at Hall Springs are today public servants, forging impact on paths with others. The young men and women who once served Jerry Baliles' policy team and served all across the administration largely remain public servants today, continuing to impact positively the lives of others. It's a noble calling. It's personally enriching. It's a pathway of lifetime learning and impact on others. So whether it's in Virginia's vibrant state government of 111,000 full-time employees, scores of advocacy organizations which develop and support well-considered public policy positions and initiatives, or the thousands of nonprofits across Virginia which exist to improve the lives of others, you can be enriched by a lifetime that begins with a commitment of public service, service to others. Barack Obama said, "America soars when we look out for one another and we take care of one another, when we root for one another's success and we strive to do better, to be better than the generation that came before us, and try to build something better for generations to come." That's why we do what we do. That's the whole point of public service. That was the point for the Baliles policy team, as I came to learn 40 years ago. Its enduring legacy is all around us, and the opportunity to join us on your terms in this wondrous journey lies before you today. Ask yourself, what kind of world do I want to live in? What kind of world do I want to leave for others? Then answer this question by the actions and paths you choose. As we gather today at this pavilion, which serves as a reminder of what came before, I invite you to consider your path, to consider public service, and to live your lives to the fullest on a journey dedicated to the well-being of others. After all, public service is good public policy. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, future governors, college presidents, marine biologists, and reporters, and all of those who have current offices and activities. The addition of these cottages and the extra meeting space provides new opportunities for the mission of both the Baliles Center and Longwood University. Its unique resources are an exciting possibility and opportunity for teachers and students all over the state. In today's competitive media world, it may take a little time for the word to get out about those who will really value this special place the most, but I have no doubt that within a very short time it will be the site of research projects and conferences and activities that will contribute significantly to the knowledge and ideas that drive our progress in protecting Chesapeake Bay as well as Virginia's other natural resources and all the benefits that we humans derive from both of those. Governor Baliles understood the political realities of developing the support needed for environmental stewardship and restoration of the Chesapeake Bay. And he knew that one of the most important measures of progress was the development of both political and public understanding of the urgency of the problems at the time. The cost of inaction and the fact that the treasures of Virginia's natural resources were personal resources for them and their families. And these resources were at risk. He also knew that in its highest form, communication is education. Watermen, restaurant owners, legislators, bankers, weekend sailors, and urban dwellers that had river houses had to be educated about why they should care. And he taught them, he showed them why they should care. And if policy is legacy, then communication sustains that legacy and helps create the stories that are going to be passed down through the years to inspire action for the future. The Baliles Center for Environmental Education has emerged now as a place where new ideas and plans can take hold and grow. You should remember, especially in the back, that when Governor Baliles was in office, just a few short decades ago, social media was just a gleam in the eyes of unborn Facebook users. There was no TikTok, unchecked Wild World Web, some people still call it that, I don't, or Instagram. The family TV was still the campfire around which everyone gathered and watched 3 channels that were a common source of information and facts. Newspapers were still the go-to source for facts and information. Working with real people in the media, face-to-face processes. Press conferences were a weekly, if not a daily event. Questions had to be answered, and you couldn't have crazy answers. There was no digital distance or curated Facebook posts to hide behind. Governor Baliles was always ready to make the case for his priorities in person, and then he'd answer questions after that. Through his focused efforts to communicate his purpose, through the policy team he assembled to develop the details, thank you for the details, Rick, and by his personal presence in the Commonwealth and his unique talent of connecting with people, and you may have heard about his ability to remember names, the Chesapeake Bay Preservation Act and numerous other pollution and water quality laws like banning dead zone creating phosphates from laundry detergents gained support and were approved by the General Assembly. But this was also accompanied by budgets that ensured real change. He had to confront corporate and even federal and military polluters at the time. But with the consensus he built with businesses and the public, he created that change. Progress is incremental. Today, most people don't question the fact that we need to protect Chesapeake Bay and other fragile resources. Runoff is still a problem, but very few doubt or argue that ongoing pollution is acceptable. And hundreds of local governments are now partners in saving the bay. A standard has been achieved, has been established for a Chesapeake Bay literacy that exists in the Commonwealth. My daughter is a teacher in Gloucester, and last year she brought a group of her middle school students to the Baliles Center. Cottages weren't here. As part of the science class studying wetlands and oysters and fisheries. Dozens of boys and girls were out wandering in the creek, in the marshes, to learn how to, they did water quality tests, they learned how the oysters are filtering the bay. But when it was time to leave, one little girl had to be dragged away from the marsh. She was exploring the marsh. She did not want to go. And she told her teacher, with a wondrous smile on her face, "This is what I want to do when I grow up." So it's that result that can happen and grow in this place. And just like this little tributary in front of us that will take clean water from here to the Potomac and out to the bay and out to the ocean, that little girl is headed out to the world and she will make a difference. And just like all the students in the back and the teachers who will be here and the visitors who will be here, they will also carry the message with them. So if I were still writing press releases for the governor, and he was here, and I needed to come up with a suggested quote for this event, I always just suggested the quotes, so that he would say, "That's exactly what I meant to say, yes." So I would give him this quote. "Well done, Longwood University. Well done, Mr. Secretary. Well done, board members, donors, and all those who support this center. Thank you."
Good afternoon.
Hi.
On a cold January night in 2022, I found myself riding down a dark gravel road lit only by the headlights of a car I was in with a professor that I didn't know very much, with dense trees lining either side of me. True, I had few expectations about what environmental research would be like, but this felt more like a scene from a horror movie than a professional development activity. That night, sleep was elusive in the Ames house, but as I watched the sunrise over the water the next day, the little scare was well worth it. Longwood and the Baliles Center at Whole Springs have been a place for me to push my boundaries and grow as a scientist and as a person. As mentioned in the introduction, which I don't recall if I was, I am from Ashburn, Virginia, and if you're familiar with that area, it's very much the opposite of Farmville and Westmoreland County. But that's exactly why I chose Longwood. It's a slower pace and it's a sense of home. It's a place where faculty care for their students and provide them with meaningful experiences that jumpstart their careers. My meaningful experience has been with working with Dr. Leach, who isn't here today, here at the Baliles Center. I've become more comfortable around water and boats, especially boats, and have gained hands-on experience with water quality monitoring. I have learned to calibrate and deploy an XO2 sonde, a standard instrument in the field of aquatic science that measures factors like water temperature and oxygen every 15 minutes. It's also attached to the dock. If you want to check it out, just let me know, I can show you. I've also had a rare opportunity to observe and monitor firsthand the ecological restoration of our wetlands and reforestation of property. These are experiences that have helped me find my passion for environmental research and will make me a marketable job candidate. But while I come to the Baliles Center for research and some relaxation, other students have come for different reasons. Some for classes like Dr. Campbell's wetland ecology class or Dr. Fink's ornithology class, and others come to do service like marine debris cleanup of the living shoreline last spring. And to some, it's a place to bond and build community like the LifeSTEM Summer Bridge program. No matter the reason for the visit, students are forever connected to this place and leave with lasting memories. And the Baliles Center just keeps getting better and better. It's so great to pull those sensors out of the water and go right over to the research lab to service them. And now we can finish, or when we finish with the lab, we can go in and relax in these amazing cabins and the screened-in porches and in the policy pavilion. It makes me sad that I'm graduating this semester and only have a short time left to enjoy these awesome new facilities. But it's all thanks to you. Thank you so much for your dedication to continuing to improve the Baliles Center for current and future students. It's truly a special place, and even if it can be scary at night.
All right, I think one more thing to do. I'm gonna unveil this plaque, but all right, I want to go, I gotta observe this. Every one of us has been around for a few years. We're up here with paper, right? Abby's up here. And if that's not the Delta.
The printer broke.
I don't know how to do that.
You need stronger glasses.
Yeah, your glasses need to be.
Stronger glasses, that I don't have. Anyway, thank you all very, very much for your attention. I wonder if Rick and Chris and Taylor, would you all do the honors?
Follow you anywhere.
Here.
You all do it.
We could run an end and then count.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Look at that. Here, Rick, why don't you read it out?
This policy pavilion is dedicated to the hardworking men and women who labored tirelessly to develop sound and enduring public policy with Governor Baliles for the benefit of all Virginians. Let the site be the inspiration and catalyst for young, thoughtful citizen leaders, that's you in the back, to continue that work. Why aren't they in the front, John? To think big and institutionalize change in the spirit of those individuals listed below. Philip Abraham, Alan Albert, Rick Ehrenstein, Chris Bridge, Kevin Burke, Ben Dendy, Stuart Gamage, Leonard Hopkins, Darrell Martin, Gordon Morse, Meredith Strom, Valerie Watkins, I don't know who this guy is, John W. Daniels II.
Well done, folks. Okay, so
Not even a headset, good.
I think the plan is, you can get up. Even the people in the back. Go stomp around, see what we've got here. I think there's some refreshments and food in various places, so welcome.